Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Master of Me podcast. I'm here today with a family friend who's really got my attention lately with the work that he's doing in the community. I think it's important to pour back into the community. And how you do anything is how you do everything. And one thing that I'm watching with him is that he bleeds over from the man he is with his family at home to where his staff is, his the kids that he coaches. I wanted to make sure I said that right because they are kids
Yeah.
and they're still growing and getting there. And who else is courageous enough to put themselves in a position to be looked at by others, really being exposed step by step, and walk in the courage of being a leader, a coach, a the word I like to use lately is guide in the world. And I used to think of the word as like a positive influence, but I think guide fits well because we're all human. And I think that we're working to be better and to stand on the line of being only good is it's a hard pill to swallow because sometimes we fall into that place where we mess up or we make certain decisions that we're not aligned with, but I think that's important that we continue to go back and reflect and be self-aware and
Mhm.
make the adjustments. So I'm standing on the line of a guide in the world, and if you were going to look towards somebody, the man that I'm standing in front of and talking to now, Shannon Woolridge. Did I say that right?
Yeah,
Woolridge,
that is correct. Woolridge.
Woolridge. I put
Woolen and Ridge.
Wool and Ridge.
Yeah, Woolridge.
Shannon Woolridge.
Yes.
I
That's
just wanted to break the ice by doing that.
Ice is broken.
There we go, man. Welcome to the show. Thank you for spending time with me. And
I can't tell you how much when you asked me to come on the
mhm.
show a month or so ago, I thought, wow, really? I mean, I was very humbled. And then I immediately started checking out some of the clips that you've posted on Instagram. And I
Mhm.
thought, wow, there's some quality people that Stefan is interviewing. So, yeah, I'm even more humbled. But man, what an opportunity. And I thank you for it.
Well, man, I thank you because I know my kids look up to you. I know that you're talking about fourth graders right now from years ago
Hmm.
that are now, did you say in their 40s? Did,
Yeah, I
did I
would
hear that
say that
right?
my first group of fourth graders, I've been in public education since 1994. First group of fourth graders, I'm pretty sure they're pushing 40. I try not to think about it too much, but that's the reality of the situation.
That's
Yeah,
intense, man.
yeah,
That is intense
yeah.
knowing that you've made, I mean, it's got to be a gratifying feeling too, knowing that you've made an impact on people's lives for that long in some way, shape, or form, like some capacity. Like
It is
you're,
100% gratifying, and
uh-huh.
it's even more gratifying when they will reach out to you impromptu,
Yeah,
whether it be, usually via social
right.
media, just kind of a surprise, a reach out like, wow,
Right.
that just, man, I guess I really did make a difference. And yeah, and that just kind of fuels her even more to continue to make a difference.
100%. That's what I was talking about too with the mindset work is like we're all human and sometimes we forget what mission we're on or what we've done in the world to build the evidence to be who we are and having some kind of affirming, text message or someone
Hmm.
just saying like thank you
Hmm.
reminds you of like, man, I've actually been doing this for a long time. Like it's
Yeah,
not just something new to me. Like you've
right,
been pouring in
right.
for quite some time and like whether we get roses while we're here or not, like getting them in that capacity is like it's a form of like someone saying
Oh
thank you
yeah,
for the work
yeah,
that you've done.
100%. Yeah.
That's exciting, man. And with mindset too, what are some of the things that you're doing right now to work on your thoughts? When we talked about
Hmm.
reflection, we talked
Hmm.
about like I called it, checking your batting stance,
Yeah,
your swing.
right.
How are you managing yourself right now?
Well, I continue to remind myself that, like you said, we're all humans, and we're all a work in
Mhm.
progress. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, I'm making perfect decisions every day of my life,
Right,
right? I'm interacting and trying to guide
right,
those that, those I'm leading every single day of my life. And then, after every conversation, like, did that go over as well as I wanted it
right,
to? And reflecting what could I do better,
right.
right? Maybe I need to follow. Maybe I didn't handle that as well as I could have. Maybe I need to go back. So just I think recognizing and remembering that it's just a work in progress, and I suppose my vision, my north star, is just you know trying to do right by
Mm.
others, and if it's not initially, then coming back and following up and trying to make it right.
That's intense. Do you think everybody has that North Star of like trying to help and not hurt people? Like you gotta want to do more good than bad in this world,
Ooh. Do I think? I'd like to think,
right?
right? Yeah. I think maybe the North Star is there for people to have that motive, but maybe we get off course sometimes
Hmm.
by things that happen in our daily lives.
Right.
And so it's just remembering to go back to that North Star, that guide.
When you're feeling lost, like what's a good foundational piece? Like what's your first step of like, hold on, like I'm losing control of this. Like how do I get it back?
How do I get it? Can you give me an example?
Yeah, you don't feel like you have the direction that day.
Hmm.
And for me, I was explaining that I'm using the affirmations to remind myself.
Okay.
And then that's pulling me back out of whatever deep end. And I
Hmm.
was giving you a reference on how I'm managing my thoughts during a wrestling match.
Right.
And sometimes I go off into the deep end and I got to pull myself back.
Hmm.
And it's things are not like I during that match I questioned myself like why I was even there
Right.
and that I didn't deserve to be there. And
Hmm.
those things started to pop up for me and I needed to start remembering like why I was there,
Right.
finding that north star, like
Sure.
throwing a hook.
Right. Well, I think one thing that's been very helpful to me at this point in my life, I'm a John Gordon certified trainer,
Mhm.
which means that I'm certified to do workshops and keynotes based upon five of his books.
Mhm.
One book is The Energy Bus.
Right.
That's probably, he's written over 33 books, 17 of them are bestsellers. His most famous one is The Energy Bus. And most days I wake up fired up, ready to go. I have
Yeah.
purpose, can't wait to get wherever I'm going and, just to try to make a difference and be a guide like you speak of. But let's face it, there are some days I wake up, I'm like, oh man, I'm just not feeling it today.
Right.
And I immediately go to some of the principles that I talk about in the keynotes and workshops that I do. And one is, making sure that you are filling your bucket. You
Mhm.
can't pour from an empty cup.
Mhm.
So if I'm not feeling it, I just, whatever I need to do to fill my tank,
Mhm.
to engage in that self care, I will do. And, obviously there's a variety of things that I do to try to fill my tank, but I say the biggest one is probably gratitude.
Mm.
I have really just been counting my blessings, and I just feel like I have a blessed life.
Mm.
There are a number of things that I'm grateful for, and you can't be blessed and stressed at the same
Right.
time. John Gordon talks a lot about that, and just remembering that, it's impossible to be blessed and stressed at the same time. I'm just constantly just trying to activate gratitude in my life.
That's I think that's could be the key. If there was one like key to it all, I think being grateful and knowing that life happens for you and not to you. And with the gratitude with that is like, all right, then this moment is meant for me, then I get to learn something from it. And how can I turn this thing that I'm learning into the lesson that I need so I can find my next win or find my next moment and accomplish it.
Right.
And with the gratitude, man, I think that like where I see it the most is I have this really old dog at home. And like when I'm walking her outside and I'm like, dang, the sun's up, you're up, I'm up. Like it just reminds me that we got another day
Yeah.
ahead of us.
Right.
And what are we going to do with the day?
Right.
And talking about like this podcast, like I've spent so much of my life in in fear and waiting or planning and preparing and getting ready and just over and over of thinking
Oh. Hmm.
versus the action side of it. And what I'm learning now is that I'd rather take the action step, go back and reflect on it than not take the step at all.
Hmm. And related to what you're speaking of right now, a game changer for me probably in the last year. I recently stepped back. I had an administrative role
Mhm.
in the school district where I work,
Mhm.
and after 22 years of administration, I was ready to do something different. I
Right.
just didn't know what. And by the way, I didn't plan to do anything in the administrative world. It just kind of happened.
Right.
And so, probably about a year or so ago, I took a step back and I'm like, I felt like I was trying to like force my life
Right.
and what my next steps were going to be.
Right.
And it wasn't until I just said, you know what, I'm just going to let things happen.
Right.
That's kind of how I've gotten to this point in my life. Most other than pursuing a teaching degree and trying to become a certified teacher, anything else that's ever happened to me in the professional world just kind of happened,
Right.
right? I didn't seek to be an assistant principal. I didn't seek to be an athletic director. I didn't seek to be a high school softball
Right.
coach. Those things just kind of happened. And that's just how my life has unfolded. And once I kind of went back to that thought process that I'm just going to see what happens.
Right.
I'm going to wake up every day, live with purpose, try to make a difference in the lives of others and just see where that takes me.
Right.
And then once I did that and kind of surrendered my thoughts to that, it's just, I mean, life in the last year has just been, all right, let's live the purpose and see what happens.
That's like I just took a sigh because it feels relieving in that concept of not needing to control the destiny and more of just like aim your ship in the direction you're going,
Hmm.
and the waves are going to be the waves,
Right.
and the sails are going to be the sails, and some days are going to go faster than others and other days are not, but as long as you're going in the right direction, then you're moving.
Right.
Everything's okay.
Right.
It
Yeah. And sometimes you don't move in the right direction. You might, be taking a different direction or you take a few steps
right.
back and that's just part of the journey.
Right.
Right.
And you learn something from it, right? Like
Hmm.
I think for me what I learned is where not to go. The by experiencing that moment is like, all right, I've been here before and I've explored. For me, like I go back to thoughts because they're really what goes on in my mind is really shapes the outcomes of what is coming up next. And so if I let my thoughts take control and I go that path, I have a lot more end results that don't serve me than I do that that do. So like it's almost like a lot of strikeouts. Like I'll put it that way. Like I've struck out a lot with that. So now I know to reshape. It's almost like a curveball coming and leaning into it. Like
Hmm.
okay, it's coming. I'm still gonna hit the ball, but now I'm prepared for it. Like I'm watching that ball turn on me,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna prepare for it and lean into it.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Brace
So
yourself, so
a
to
hundred
speak.
percent,
Right. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So I think thoughts are so important, man. How has it been putting your groups together and doing the work that you're doing with the energy bus and the concepts? Like, how has that been for you with it sounds like you're working with your daughter now too, like a little bit bringing her into the workshops that you're doing. Like, how are you exposing the work of the energy bus to the community?
Okay. So, Brittany, my goal is for Brittany to become a John Gordon
Yeah.
certified trainer at some point.
Yeah.
At some point,
Yeah.
that's the goal. That's my goal.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
love to work side by side with her.
Uh-huh.
But as far as the workshops and keynotes go, obviously I'm with the uh, with the team that I coach. I'm the head softball coach over
Uh-huh.
at Empire. We're doing workshops with them.
Uh-huh.
We just recently did 7 commitments of a great team. So as far as involvement goes,
Right.
she's involved with those workshops. But workshops and keynotes that I'm doing with the community. So I kind of put myself out there in the beginning.
Right.
I'd love to, do
Right.
this keynote or workshop, and that's just
Right.
kind of led to others.
Right.
And man, I'm just so appreciative of referrals. And like last week, I did a keynote for a group of 30 employees at
Okay.
AZOMS,
Okay.
so Arizona Oral and I can't even say it
Right.
correctly.
Right. Right.
Maxillofacial.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't. AZOMS.
Right.
And man, that was just so fun and so gratifying to be able to show up and fill their tanks. And then on Thursday, I did a full blown workshop, 3 hour workshop for a group of Pima County court employees.
Mm.
And then everyone's leaving and just feeling energized,
Right.
right? And that's man, that just when you talk about having your tank filled. So
Right.
so a lot of it's just me reaching out. I suppose try to get the ball
Mm-hmm.
rolling, and that's just leading to other
Right.
opportunities.
Right. It's like you gotta throw the fish hook out there in order
Yeah,
to catch something. And
yeah,
sometimes it's not the one you were going for, and then you got something else in the process.
right. I mean,
Right.
again, I never in a million years thought I would go on to be a school administrator. That wasn't in the cards. I was
Right.
just going to teach for 30 years, and I was the kid in college that would if I had to give a speech
Right.
or speak in front of others, as part of a group project or whatever, I would find anything and everything I could do to get out of it.
Right.
I was calling in sick, whatever, or taking the smallest part I could possibly take. And now the fact that I'm at a point in my life where I find myself wanting to go speak to people, I
Mhm.
just I just kind of look at it as a calling,
Right.
and just just what a an opportunity to create a ripple effect. I
Right.
think about, what 50 some people that I spoke with last week, and even if they went out and took what we were talking about and impacted one other person,
Right.
that's, we doubled it,
Right.
doubled the ripple effect, right? So that's ultimately what I'm trying to create with the, this John Gordon certification
Right.
endeavor.
Right.
And it's not only good for others, but it's good for me. And it fills my tank each and every day.
100%.
I'm
A
just
hundred
immersed in
percent.
the principles and the content, and just wow, what a difference it's made.
That's what it's impactful, and I think that sharing it in that one person's energy, going from where point A and then where it leaves at with point B, and then they go share that is like, all
Hmm.
right, now I'm moving people in the right direction.
Right.
And then that feels like, all right, it's impactful.
Right.
Right. And with, as far as like getting Brittany on board and stuff, like I'm the same way with Presley, even with wrestling sometimes, like I keep showing up and she keeps, she keeps coming with me right now.
Hmm.
And so I'm gonna take that and just keep working with it. And it reminds me that I have to stay on my toes and she's watching. So like if I start slacking off, I know that she's gonna start being like, well, it's okay that we don't go today or we don't do this today. So I keep showing up and keep doing it. And like I can want her to do so much, but all I can do is just keep being me.
Right.
And if it inspires her is the way I like to look at it versus, telling her or what is another, like even just forcing her, right?
Hmm.
Like I don't want to do that. It's more of the inspiration. If she pulls it out of herself, like to want to go do more with that, then great. And if not, then I get to continue to show up. I think, especially when it comes to being active and stuff, like I just think that we're humans and we have to move our body for 45 minutes at least per day. Like it's a
Yeah.
prerequisite to
Right.
survival. So
Hmm.
we currently use wrestling, and if it changes, it changes. But I think we're moving like our ships in the right direction as long as we're filling our cup that way.
Right.
We're taking care of ourselves.
Yeah.
And you get the endorphins, the dopamine, all the stuff that comes
Hmm.
from being active, especially like if you can force yourself to run, like there's a certain place where you let go of that it's hard and then all
Oh,
of a
right.
sudden you're just
Hmm.
connected
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
feels good.
Yeah.
And it
Right.
feels good. No, man, this is exciting that we get to pour in right now and just kind of leave something behind
Hmm.
for whoever
Right.
picks up a piece.
Yeah.
And I think there's a story that I've seen one time, and it's like I've seen it because I've seen it visually, but it was a kid walking on a beach, and he was picking up starfish and throwing them back in
All
the
right.
water.
Hmm. Hmm.
And someone comes up, he's like, "Hey man, you can't, there's the beach is full with starfish."
Yep.
And he's like, "You can't throw all those in there. There's no way. It's impossible." He's like, "You're right, but I can start with this one." And he
Yep.
just keeps chucking
Hmm.
away,
Hmm.
putting them back in there. And I think that's what leaving some kind of legacy or being
Right.
impactful even is like. Is
Right.
you can't overwhelm yourself. You just got to keep
Yep.
picking them up one by one and throwing them out there.
And I'm familiar with that story. When I first became a teacher, I don't know if it was in my teacher certification work or after I became a teacher, but that story was shared with me, and I even probably have it on
Uh huh.
printout and,
Right.
one of my boxes or
Right.
teaching boxes. But that one really resonated with
Right.
me. I'm like, wow. It just, yeah, there's thousands of starfish on the beach that
Right.
but it matters to that one
Right.
that you're trying to help. Yeah, that
Right.
that was a very powerful story.
That
Still
goes
is.
that goes into that concept we were talking about too, where like sometimes you see something in someone else that they don't see in
Right.
themselves. And the same, like if someone didn't say, "Hey, you have this skill set, like you should explore it more," like would you be in the position that you're in right now?
Right.
And
I think because that happened to me
mm-hmm.
at one point in my life, where my friend Kevin Carney pretty much said, I think you should apply to be the assistant principal at this
Right.
middle school. I'm like, what? Really? And then, at first I said no. And then the more I thought about it, like, sure, I'll go for it. And man, without that experience, I certainly wouldn't have gained the knowledge and skills that I otherwise gained. So because that was done for me, I'm more inclined, maybe not more inclined, but it just definitely is just trying to find the good in
Right.
others and help them realize, there's more out there for you.
Right.
You may not think there is, but you have this strength, that strength, and this strength, and you can use that for, the benefit of others.
It's crazy too. Like if you think about what goes on in another person's life or in their head, based off how they've experienced life so far. Like, do they
Hmm.
have those? Like, you've
Right.
heard a little bit on how my mind can wander in the opposite direction,
Hmm.
and it sometimes it takes another person to to pull it out of you
Yep.
for you to see it for
Yep.
yourself. Because
Right.
you can always lead the horse to water, but at the same time, like
Right.
once it's pulled out, and then I can really take it from there. It's like, all
Right.
right, I see what you're saying.
And on that note, another thing I've learned too is that sometimes you plant seeds. So you
Right.
might see something. Speaking of leading the horse to water, you might plant a seed, and they may or may not see it at that moment, and then the seed may not germinate until
Right.
years later.
Right.
But the key is to plant those seeds,
Right.
and then when you're ready to receive it and do something with it, hopefully you'll do something with it.
That's such an important piece of the puzzle there too, because sometimes, I mean, depending, I'll speak for myself on resistance. Like if you're not ready, I'm not ready. Like then I could put it on the back burner, and even if I know that it's the path, I could still want to go down the path that I'm going on to because it serves me in some way, shape, or form, even if it's not the right path. But it may be easier, or it may be some kind of like I get to blame somebody else, so I don't have to show up to that full potential yet. I can I can go and keep holding on to this story and
Hmm.
play small
Right.
and not get there yet. And
Right.
then hopefully, I'll get there. But luckily, like in my life, I think it took me to like 26. I'm 37 now, where somebody saw something in me and I was in resistance to the whole thing. I went to what was a personal and professional development workshop, 3 days
Hmm.
long, and they used exercises through like hands on, and then they drew things out. And as they drew things out, I started to see that they were real. Like
Hmm.
I thought I was messed up, and that person was trying to fix me. And
Mm.
so then I was fighting back for that.
Mm.
But at the same time, once I got there, I realized like every human should do something like this and just explore something different. And like it's just the little things. Like they did this one where like you take your hand and if you look up here, let's go with use your watch hand. There we go. So we're gonna go counterclockwise on these things. Yeah, the
Counterclockwise.
other way. So let's go. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Counterclockwise, and then sit back a little bit so you can bring your elbow down, and keep going counterclockwise. And then you look down,
Yeah.
and which way is it going? One, two, three, four. One, two, three, four.
Okay.
So now our fingers are going clockwise,
Right.
but we started counterclockwise. We never changed what we were doing. We just looked at it
I might need to do that a couple
from a different
times.
perspective, but it,
Yeah.
it clicked, and that was it for me. Is like at some point,
Huh.
go ahead, let's do it. All right, let's go counterclockwise.
Counterclockwise.
Yeah, so
Right.
counter's gonna be, let's look at like a clock and go backwards 11.
Okay.
That way, that way.
Okay. Okay.
And then let's bring our elbow down. And then right there, we're going 1, 2, 3 on a clock.
Hmm.
1, 2, 3. There's 1, 3, 6, 9, 12.
Okay.
Counter. One more time. You said 2 or 3. That was two. Always one. Let's go.
All right. Counter. So counter. So
Counter is good. So we're going left, basically.
okay. Left.
The other left. Let's go this way.
Right. Right. Right.
Right
Right.
here.
Right. There we go.
Here.
Okay.
I do it big so I can really emphasize what the hell's happening.
Interesting.
And then,
Okay.
yeah, right there,
Okay. I get
we're
it.
back going, and it's going clockwise. But we started off
Right.
here.
Right.
We didn't
Wow.
change what we were doing. We just looked at it from a different perspective. So,
Interesting.
like,
Yeah.
that gets applied to me in so many ways, especially when it comes to being right. Like, what am I trying to be right about?
Mm-hmm.
And if I just look at it from a different perspective,
Mm-hmm.
I'll know that, like, oh, we are on the same fight. It is the same cause.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's be okay with saying okay,
Yeah.
and of course, or at home, of course, honey. Yeah, that one
I've
works for me.
mastered that.
Yeah, that
Don't.
is that is but for me, seeing stuff like that and then really knowing like how my choices in life are impacting
Yeah,
not
which is
only my
related to
life but
perspective,
others,
right?
and it
Yeah,
was a lot of it was
yeah,
perspective
yeah.
and events in life, like going
Mhm,
back to where I've learned it from, and then finding some kind of gratitude and love and peace and
mhm.
forgiveness, and then, I mean, I'm 26 at this time. I'm now got to make a new choice for me. Like,
Right,
I already used up all of the time that I could have
right,
blaming other people, and this, I
right,
didn't get this because of that.
right.
I even told you that,
Oh, I went through that.
I
Yeah.
got back
Mhm.
into wrestling. There was one time I blamed my father, as not being there in like important parts of my life, that when we got to high school, he shows up, and now I'm in wrestling and I'm getting my butt beat,
Right.
and I'm hearing him on the, on the side of the mat telling me what to do, and I'm like, where the heck have you been? And so when I would lose a match, not that I didn't try, but when I would lose a match, I look back and I'd see his face and kind of like
Mhm,
dishonor or something. I would like feel like I was kind of getting back at him.
mhm.
Like, dang, it's where you been?
Right,
This is where my life is right now.
right, right.
Versus like now I get to take full control and I get to make a choice, and I get to show up and be that man for my kids. And it's like, dang, if I didn't have that story in my life, would I be so present as a father right now?
Right,
Maybe I wouldn't value it. But
right,
now I know through me in my life, like I took on the brunt of that so I can show up for these girls.
right,
Like, they're not strong young men, they're like beautiful, strong young women.
right.
And I get to be a different version
Mhm.
of that for them. And so
Right,
that they'll have their own stuff to work on, that how they see me,
right,
but it won't be that.
right,
It'll be an off version of that,
right.
and they
Yeah,
can go do the work for themselves too. And
right.
who knows, maybe they're sitting me down, forgiving me or telling me all the stuff that I jacked up for them. But
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, 100%. I mean, my parents were great parents. No, don't get me wrong,
uh-huh.
but I think there's, when you're being parented, that, and when I become a parent, I'm not going to do that. I am going to do this,
Right.
right? I think that's just how we evolve. And I made mistakes as a parent. I try not to beat myself up too much over it. My kids still love me. We still
Hmm.
talk to each other and spend a lot of time together. So I couldn't have been. But I also know there's things that if I could go back, I would fix, but I can't go back and fix it. So I just try to be better, for them moving forward and try
Right.
to be better for the grandkids. And then also kind of just have them learn from my
Right.
mistakes. Yeah, it's just, I made that mistake when you were growing up. I was too uptight, too worried about this. And I don't want you to be that way.
Right.
Or they see for themselves, I don't want to be that way.
Right.
Right? So I just think that's just, what we're supposed to do,
A hundred
right? In
percent.
terms of evolving and improving and growing. So when you were 26, did you feel like you were kind of at a crossroads where you
It was
had to
things.
make some positive
Yeah.
changes or?
Yes. Things like felt like they always sabotage at some point. Like,
Hmm.
even when I've always felt like ambitious, driven. Um, but I wouldn't like. I even started the podcast back then, but never really did anything with it. Like,
Oh,
I didn't
wow.
even put it out. Like,
Okay.
I would always get caught up in the marketing or the so and so. Like, I'd put something bigger than just doing the work
Hmm.
and being okay with the result. Like, now I'm okay with stumbling on the words, even sometimes thinking long in the process about what I really want to get out.
Right.
But at the same time, like, it's better to just sit here and cross the bridge than it is to go back and need to feel so polished all the time. And
Right. Right.
and I think a lot of those things came from times as like being small. Like, I was afraid of not showing up good because I didn't want my parents to leave me. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't want to feel abandoned
Mm-hmm.
anymore. So
Mm-hmm.
like I would hold off and make sure that I got it right
Mm.
before I even did anything because I didn't want to show up like that.
Right.
I didn't want to. I didn't want to hurt nobody, offend anybody. I don't want you to think bad of me because I used my words wrong or I
Right.
didn't put the sentence together right
Mm-hmm.
or whatever it is. Like, but now it's like, hold on, that wasn't working for me anymore. Like,
Right.
those were the results of 26 years of my life,
Mm-hmm.
and I was still coming back to the same. Almost felt like almost felt like dying in a video game. Like,
Yeah.
I would get to the same part of the level
Mm-hmm.
and then be off again. Like, I didn't know how to get past it or
Just kind of
fix it.
pull back because you felt like you had to be perfect
I had
or,
to be perfect, and
yeah.
a lot of it came from how other people would view me,
Mm.
and 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 then that tied back to a deeper root of like abandonment. I didn't want people to leave me. If you didn't like me, then you would leave me, and then I'd be alone again.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Wow.
wasn't okay at that time being alone.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like, I'm okay in my own skin, and
Right.
if you make opinion on me, then it is what it is, and you're okay to have your
That's
opinion,
right.
but I'm still living in my truth, and
That's
that's
right.
okay.
Right.
Versus before, like I would say yes to things that I wasn't even 100% aligned with
Mm-hmm.
because I wanted you to like me.
Mm.
And so then now I'm built up and frustrated because I have these tasks on my life, or I committed to something that I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
committed to. I
Right.
wasn't truly
Because you weren't
committed to.
aligned with it.
I wasn't
Right.
aligned with it,
Mm-hmm.
and I was more focused on how you looked at me
Right.
versus on how I felt with it.
And so that's where you're at now in your life. And man, life is so much more enjoyable once you get there, isn't it? I'm like, I am who I am,
A hundred
right?
percent.
I treat people right. I make that a priority, and I am who I am. I'm not perfect. If I
Right.
make a mistake, I make a mistake.
Right.
Laugh at it and learn from it and move on,
Right.
right?
And I'm still gonna do it. I'm still gonna put this podcast out. I'm still gonna like
Mm-hmm.
take another step. I'm gonna refine, go back, see where I need to get
Oh, sure,
better,
right?
and
Yeah,
then I'm gonna go do more. And I'm
right.
gonna go get back out there. Just like if I was a coach telling a kid, like, you know what, pick your chin up and go get after it. Swing
Mm-hmm.
again, swing away,
Right.
and just keep putting them out there.
Suppose that I can relate to that as a trainer. I send out feedback surveys
Mm-hmm.
after every training, and most of it's been pretty positive.
Mm-hmm.
There was one keynote where it was like, ugh. I was like, what do you mean it's fair? Because most have been excellent ratings with,
Right.
very specific feedback. But you know what? The more I digested their feedback and consider, I was like, yeah, maybe I could have been a little bit more enthusiastic. And, maybe I could have referred to my notes less. And honestly, I just learned from that. And I just made sure, all right, I'm going to make sure that my next two performances, or the next two times that I present, I'm just going to be off the charts enthusiastic. I'm going
Right.
to know my stuff backwards and forwards.
Right.
So it kind of catapulted me to this next
Right.
level. So looking back, man, I'm appreciative for that feedback because it made me better.
100%. 100%. I think now it puts you in this place of preparing, right? And
Hmm.
like I have on my calendar, like I was doing it last night, getting ready for the week, and I rarely do this, but I put prepare for X, prepare for X. So I
Hmm.
time block these hours to prepare for like the masterminds I have coming up, to prepare for the podcast classes I have coming up. So like the presentations on that.
Right.
And sometimes like I used to go by this king of wing, like wing it, and I'll be the king of it. And
King of
but
wing.
King
King of
of
wing.
winging it, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Sometimes
but
that has its place, right?
sometimes it's okay, but
Yeah.
at the same time, like knowing it forwards and backwards, like how can you, it's the same as preparing for wrestling. Like if
Right.
I've been doing the
Yeah.
work, if something comes out of the left field for me, then I'm prepared
Right.
and I'll stay locked in and
Right.
just get back to the
Right. Yeah, you
back to
still
the
have that
grind.
less structure. It's still structured, but less structured. But you
Right.
talk about you don't want it to be so formal, so structured
Right.
that you're not getting authentic conversations going, but still that preparation piece. It's not that I wasn't prepared. It's just that I just kind of took being prepared to a whole nother level and just
Right.
really knowing it backwards and forwards. Man,
Right.
that was very like, talk about confidence going into, a room
Right.
full of strangers.
Right.
That really gave me the confidence.
Right. No, that's powerful because that's aligning also with what I'm working on too. Is being a lot more prepared for the classes that I'm teaching, and like the first group of them for next month, it's like I'm working on the preparation, and before I would wait to the last couple days
Yeah.
before,
Right.
and so I'm growing that aspect because I care about it. So I'm gonna
Right.
prepare for it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get ready. I think that's important, an important piece there. Switching into so I know I talked about childhood and parents a little bit and stuff like that. To tie the knot on that, I think everybody should go back and have those conversations with their parents and maybe get some insight on where it came from with them. Like I know that when I communicated to my father about the way I felt with that stuff, he explained about his relationship and his dad and his worries and what he was trying not to do, and it landed him, the results that he had, and so I was able to like get perspective with him on why he made the choices he made.
Mm-hmm.
And that was helpful for me because when it was time for me to forgive him, like I had some context too and it was okay. Like it
Mm-hmm.
and but parents now, and I'm gonna dive into I felt like I needed to get that off my chest, but
Okay. Okay.
coaching,
Yeah.
what I see in wrestling is like, there's heavily involved parents that it looks like and this is why I continue to compete as a wrestler and not pour it onto my kid
Mm-hmm.
and want to live through the girls.
Right.
It's more of like I'll go get fill my cup the way I need to,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm seeing parents like being really. like aggressive parents or just
Right.
like over parenting in the background, like,
Yeah.
let them coach.
Mhm.
How do you work with there's one thing to have the kids, but like with the parents side of it.
Mhm.
And I hear it through my wife's a teacher, like Lexi's a teacher, and so I know that the parents can also be overwhelming at some
Right.
time. Like how are you working with that
Just as a
as
coach.
a coach in general?
Well, it's not easy.
I bet.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, parents are coming from a place where they just want what's best for their
Mm-hmm.
kids. Um, there's certainly a lot of that taking place, but as a coach, obviously, I've been coaching for about 24 years or so, and I wasn't always good about communicating expectations and these are the expectations and these are why we have those expectations. But I feel like I've gotten better at just being really clear at, we all have a role,
Right.
right? Coaches have a role, players have a role, parents have a role. And I just try to do a really good job of describing what a parent's role is, right? On and off the field,
Mm-hmm.
and just making sure that parents, I always tell them, look, the officiating is the officiating. It is what it is. We can't control that factor, right? So if officials are, I really believe that when officials show up, they're trying to do the best they can.
Right.
You get somebody who sometimes it doesn't really want to be there, and you just kind of work through that. But most officials are coming from a great place, so we want to stay off of the officials as much as possible. It's
Right.
never helpful.
Right.
I've never seen parents or coaches get after officials and have things turn in their favor.
Right.
I don't know that I've ever seen
Right.
that. So we talk about that, and we talk about just how difficult it is for these kids to perform at a high level when I'm talking to them. They might be hearing from their teammates, and then they're hearing from someone in the stands. I mean, that's got to be extremely nerve. Nobody can perform at a high level without all that information. They're trying to integrate all that information into their brain. They just
Right.
can't perform.
Right.
And so I just I just try to present it in such a way that it's really what's best for your kids. We think that we're being helpful, but we're really not
Right.
when we try to, overcoach and plus I always try to bring back my own
Right.
experiences as a parent. This is one of those things I wish if I could do differently, I would. I would probably be more focused on let's just let things happen.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm going to support you. I'm going to encourage you. I'm going to take you to lessons. I'm going to work out with you, but I'm also not going to put a super amount of pressure on you either. I'm just going to let things happen,
Right.
and whatever happens, happens. Right? You're going to end up where you want to be, and so I try to bring my own experiences into it. The best thing you can do as a parent is do those things to encourage and support your child, and just whatever happens, happens. Right? If you do those things, and your kid's going to end up where they're going to end up, and they're going to get what sports has to offer
Right.
by taking that approach.
That was so good, so deep. Like as you were talking, I was picturing Presley recently with volleyball. Like
Hmm.
it's not really a sport that I know too much about, or even like other than words of encouragement on the side. Like what value do I have to bring in that on that court at that time? So sitting and watching and just being there without really oversaying anything other than like good effort when they
Hmm.
try or something like that.
Right.
They the time pass and they would lose a game and it was okay.
Right.
And she's used to wrestling right now, which is like more of an individual when you're competing. And in volleyball, it's a team sport, and so they're still they do a bad hit or they don't hit the ball over the net, and they go high five each other. So they're getting like these positive reinforcements even off of things that are not serving them
Hmm.
or not winning the game. And like that's something she's not used to. And I see her spirits up still,
Hmm.
even on the
Yep.
downs. It's like,
Yep.
why would I try to interject on something and
Right.
try to control the outcome?
Right.
Like I'm just here. They're gonna
Right.
win, they're gonna lose.
Right.
And I'm gonna high five her at the end and be supportive
Right.
regardless. And
Right.
there really is nothing I can do about it.
Play hard, be a great teammate, and then I'll give you my feedback if there's feedback to
Right.
be given at the appropriate time.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Just
Oh,
kind of like you said, just observe and just kind of watch it play out. and intervene as needed, not in the
Yeah.
middle, not in the whatever set they're in, and the score is 22 to 22. That's not the time that she needs to hear from you.
100%.
Right,
100%.
right.
Yeah.
She's got enough that she's worried about and thinking about.
Yeah, I think it all starts inside, right? Like it as a parent or a coach or a human, like it's just a matter of like I have to control my thoughts, my like what's going on in my head and why am I
Hmm.
responding or reacting to a
Right.
certain thing. Like there's things that I'll get frustrated about that I have to think about. Is like that person is just doing something in their life. Why
Hmm.
am I even responding to it? And
Right.
then I have to start thinking about that of like, okay, so why am I responding to it like that?
Hmm.
Like, what does it make me
Hmm.
feel? And then sometimes it's a person eating or what they're eating, and I'm starting to think a certain way or feel a certain way, and it's like, hold on, like this is weighing a little bit heavy. What's going on here?
Hmm.
And then I go back to like something in my life the way I'm viewing it, or and then I have to address that little problem. And then once I go down to the root, address it, I can move on from it real quick. So like a lot of times it's just thinking about what I'm thinking about and why I'm thinking about it.
Hmm.
And then if I can just cross that bridge on my own, then I really don't need anything
Hmm.
from anyone. I'm just self-cleaning all the
Hmm.
time. It's like
Hmm.
I'm a
Oh yeah.
self-cleaning
Yeah.
oven and this is going on and
Ooh,
I
I'm gonna
have to
use that self-cleaning.
oven,
I
yeah.
feel like I'm self-cleaning daily,
Yeah.
several times a day. That's
Yeah.
good though. We all should, right?
I think
Yeah.
so. And I think that it's important because I mean, life's gonna just life all day long. There's gonna be good, there's gonna be bad, and it's all gonna
Hmm.
just happen. And
Hmm.
it's how I'm responding to it is what I have to work on for me.
Hmm.
And whether I like it or not, like I'm gonna either have people in my corner or I'm not. Like it's just gonna be me moving through this world and me responding to the world as well.
Hmm. Yeah.
And it's
Hmm.
gonna be a make or break for me. And I think that there's still
Right.
a lot of time here
Yeah.
to keep moving.
Right.
Like tomorrow's not promised, but there's still also all today
All
and
today. That's
whatever
right.
else it brings.
Right.
And I forgot what the stat is, but I like how many thoughts go into a person's mind per day,
Right.
and like
Thousands. Yeah.
thousands
Hmm.
per day. And
Hmm.
like I even hear the percentages are a lot more negative than they are
Hmm.
positive.
Hmm.
So then how do I, if it's deep enough, like how do I manage it, clean it on my own,
Right.
keep moving
Right.
without needing to go to therapy, without
Right.
like to each his own, like everybody needs to do their own stuff. But
Hmm.
at the same time, like for me, like I'm responsible for my thoughts. I'm responsible for my responses. I'm
Hmm.
responsible for the results of my life. Like I don't get to blame
Right.
anybody. Like it's me and me in this
Right.
world. And
Right.
I think it's important for us to talk about it here because I mean, again, one day this will get stumbled upon, and I
It'll
think
help
it's
someone, hopefully. Right.
somebody,
Hmm.
and if it's in my downline or my bloodline, then they'll just know that it's always going to be their responsibility. It's always
Hmm.
my responsibility to take
Control what you can.
a hundred
Right. And you
percent.
talk about responding. What is it? 95% of what happens in our lives is how we respond to the
Mm-hmm.
events that happen in our life.
Right,
Right. Man, I just kind of taken that to heart.
right, right. That's
I'm not
big.
always good at it, but
Hey,
trying to get better with
hey,
it,
a
right?
hundred
Certainly
percent,
better at it now than I was,
100%.
5 years ago,
Yep.
probably even.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest gift is wisdom over time. Like that is
Hmm. And sharing it with others,
right. And
right?
now that's where we're at. Here we
Hmm.
are. Speaking of that, if you had to leave something behind, what would it be?
If I had
This
to,
if this was it, honestly,
if this was my last
if
day,
this was it, man, this I mean, who knows?
yeah, no,
Like,
you're absolutely. Trust me, I know. Yeah. Renee and I have had these conversations. I'm like, Renee, we want to do this, this, and this, and we only have so many years left
right.
potentially where we can go out and do that stuff.
Yeah.
So let's do it. That's kind of like our mindset when it comes to living our lives. But um, honestly, it's about serving others. It's, just being unselfish and serving others. How can you make the world better one person at a time?
Mm.
What can you do to impact a life? And that's true. I just think that's everything that I do, whether it's with the keynotes and the workshops, coaching, working at the high school. It's just, I hope that I make someone's life better
Mm.
today with wherever I'm at ultimately. And I just hope if I impact a life that that person pays it forward.
Ladies and gentlemen, Shannon Woolridge is the master of me.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. That was fun.